Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel for more Monster Hunter Wilds. I am MidMaxer, and today I want to give you my tips and tricks for clearing Gogmazios as a normal player. I've got some good stuff here, and I don't want to talk your ears off, so I'll move through it as quick as I can. Check the timestamps in the description for specific tips. First off, I want to touch on preparation, because clearing this hunt reliably begins before you ever even talk to Alma. First off, you want to bring one fire weapon and one dragon weapon. They don't need to be the same weapon, as long as you have one of each element. Ardian and later Gogmardian weapons are great if you have them, but any normal weapons with these elements will work. Gog takes a lot of elemental damage, so that's definitely the ideal approach here. Make sure your armor is as upgraded as it can be. If you're at the point where you're hunting Gogmazios, you probably got a favorite armor set at this point, so stop hoarding your armor spheres and invest in that extra defense because it will pay off, and you can always get more spheres later. Later on, I strongly suggest going for the 4-piece Gogmazios set bonus for the damage barrier that comes with it and the extra elemental damage that it does, but obviously you gotta beat them a few times to get to that. If you have decoration slots to spare, pack some fire resist, but definitely one level of oil silt. He drops all these sticky, gross puddles all over the place throughout the whole fight, and they will seriously slow you down, which makes it tough to hit your damage windows or to evade his attacks. Positioning is huge in this fight, so Oil Silt 1 is a key skill. Also, if you aren't using Divine Blessing, which you would be if you watched my skills video, do it. When he does hit you, and he will, it's nice to take half damage and get a chance to recover. If you have a weapon with a guard mechanic, lance, sword and shield, charge blade, even a greatsword, I cannot recommend guard up enough. Gogmazios has a lot of moves that hit very, very hard, and being able to reliably block them is important. Slot guard up. And last prep tip, eat a big meal at the Grand Hub. I prefer the Azuz meal because it gives you extra chances to carve at the end of the hunt, and every extra carve you get is another chance to get the gem. Ooh. Okay, moving on to the actual hunt. Phase 1, you want to start off by grabbing the slinger fire ammo off the ground here. You can use this to trigger the geysers on the ground whenever Gogmazios is standing over them, which will hit him with massive fire damage. Now the support hunters might do this for you. I've seen the geysers trigger when I didn't do it myself, but it's definitely more reliable to pick up this ammo and take care of it yourself. Similarly, keep an eye out on the rocks overhead. I don't always get a chance to use them in phase 1 because of where he's standing, but if you do get a chance, they do a big old chunk of damage. The only caveat to this is I always leave the ones that are closest to the phase 2 cliff over there so that they can be used during phase 2. In this phase, you want to use your fire weapon to soften the oil on Gogmazios' body, otherwise he takes less damage. Technically, you can swap to dragon once you've softened the oil, and your dragon element will do more damage to him, but then the oil starts to cool and you have to keep swapping back and forth to soften it again. So I generally just stick to fire throughout this whole phase. It's easier that way, and the extra effort of juggling weapons doesn't really pay off, in my opinion, so just stick to fire for phase 1. Now as soon as he moves toward the cliff like this, and starts shooting his big lava beam, you can hop on your sacred and get ready for phase 2. You can get into position up on the cliff before Gogmazios does and set yourself up really well. So I always climb up the left side here, grab the chill bug at the top on my way with my slinger, and that way I don't even have to worry about a cool drink. This is the only part of the fight where the environmental heat matters, and so the one chill bug should be enough to get you through it. I like to start off phase 2 by running over to the boulders and using all 3 of them. You can roll them while Gog is getting settled into his position and pretty reliably hit him with all 3. This will set you up with some early damage and a much easier first stagger, and it's safer to do it while he's getting into position than when he's already there and starts targeting you. Phase 2 is a good time to swap to your dragon element. The oil mechanic isn't a factor anymore. It's not a make or break issue because phase 2 generally goes pretty quick, so you can do this phase with fire, but you'll definitely want to swap to dragon before phase 3. This is where the rocks that we saved before come into play. So when Gog is on the left side of the arena, your left, he's directly beneath them. Keep an eye out for that opportunity, and it's usually an easy stagger. When he is staggered, you definitely want to run around and target his back. To me, it always feels like he falls away from me, and I have to run around his big ol' head, but it's definitely worth it to get the Elder Breaker loose as quickly as you can. So don't just hit him wherever he falls, run around and hit the back of him. As soon as the Elder Breaker does fall off, grab the closest cord to it and connect that as quick as you can. The reason for that is the support hunters will help with the chore of connecting the cords, and if you're quick enough, you do have to be pretty quick, you can do the short one and get to the second one before they do, which means they'll grab the furthest one and take that off your hands. If they do beat you to the second one, just grab the third, keep an eye out for his attacks. They are pretty dodgeable if you know what you're looking for. Another quick side note here, you can sprint while hauling the cords, so keep that in mind. You move a little bit quicker and just dodge out of the way if you need to. This lever for the Forge Hammer trap can be activated remotely using your slinger. So as soon as you see Gogmazios shift to the right side of the arena, pull your slinger out, aim, shoot, yank. 8,000 damage, almost a guaranteed stagger. Once the Elder Breaker is fully charged, remember to aim the darn thing. It doesn't have to be precise. He's a big guy and it is a pretty generous window, but it can miss. I've done it. You don't want to do it. Between the Falling Rocks, the Forge Hammer, and the Elder Breaker, Phase 2 usually goes pretty quick. I honestly spend much less time attacking him personally up close than I do just managing these mechanics. So pay attention to these things and you'll be quick on to Phase 3. Now at this point, on your way up, remember to freshen up your buffs. I like to drink my Mega Demon Drug and Hard Shell on the way up since they only affect me, and then I wait until everyone's together at the top and redo the powders. Gogmazios will always start Phase 3 by doing his crazy spray and pray lava sprinkler thing. There are two ways to approach this. You can stay on your Sacred to stay mobile and fire the wyvern shots at him from, your Sacred and stay on the move. But I actually prefer to dismount and just sit right underneath him. Because of the way this attack works, most of them spread out from him in circles. Occasionally an oil glob will fall straight down, and if that gets hit with fire damage, it will, sort of ignite and explode. So you got to keep an eye on it and dodge if you have to, but generally being right underneath him is pretty safe. For anyone that's still unfamiliar with the hunt, there's a recurring DPS check. After a certain amount of time, Gogmazios charges up this massive Nova attack that affects the entire arena. So if you've done enough dragon element damage, by the time it goes off, you can survive this. If not, everyone dies. That being said, there are these pillars on the edges of the arena that you can pull down onto his head. I suggest don't bother using them to pass the first DPS check, because for the first Nova, if you fail the check, you can avoid the damage by standing up on these cliffs at the back of the arena. But pass or fail, they always get destroyed after the first Nova. So you may as well save the pillars for the later ones when you don't have the safety net. When he's flying around, focus your special wyvern shot things on his wing arms. You do enough damage to his wings and he will be grounded for a while, which makes it much easier to keep consistent dragon damage on him with your weapon and all the support hunters, and make it easier therefore to pass the DPS check. Also, worth noting, I did not realize this at first, you can charge the wyvern shots to get more damage out of them. After the first Nova, this is where you want to start using these pillars. You can linger underneath the pillars to lure him over instead of waiting for him to position himself by chance, because it's much more reliable that way. So grab yourself some ammo, park underneath one of the towers, and just start sniping. He will probably come at you with this big diving tackle, which hurts. So be ready to block it or dodge it. If you fail that, you still get hit by it, it's okay. You can still recover in time to drop the pillar, it's just a tighter timing, so it is easier if you can avoid that hit. Use one pillar for the second Nova, save the other pillar for the next Nova, and it'll help you out with that DPS check. When he lands to charge his Nova, he does this little circle thing. I recommend positioning behind him. His tail is a big, easy target. The explosions in the area behind him are pretty predictable, and it keeps you centered so that whichever side Fabius decides to park and raise his shield, you can get there pretty quickly. Plus, you get the bonus of doing as much damage to his tail as possible, because if you sever it before the end of the fight, that'll give you several more carves at the end, which again is several more chances to get that gem. So that pretty much covers it. That's not an exhaustive list. There's always more stuff to optimize about this fight, but I feel like these are the most impactful things that I learned that got me from clearing this hunt like 25% of the time to pretty much 100% of the time these days. If y'all have any more tips or want to correct me on anything, drop a comment, educate me. I'm always learning. Hit the thumb if you learned something, hit the bell if you want to catch the next one. But for now, thanks for coming by. Thanks for giving me some of your time, and hope to see y'all in the next video. Take care. Good luck with your hunt. Bye, everybody.